So welcome student in this lecture. In the previous lecture we are talked about the plant water relations, and also we have studied there the ascent of sap, how it is takes place in the plant body, and with respect to that we have studied there the three different theories. Okay, and with the help of that theories we learn there the ascent of sap, how it is takes place. Okay, so there we have studied the cohesion tension theory. Okay, cohesion tension theory. That theory they become successful to explain the ascent of sap in the plant body. So in this today's lecture we will see about the next part as per your syllabus, that is transport of the mineral ions. Okay, so see the transport of the mineral ions. Okay, transport of the mineral ions. See student, what is mean by the mineral ions and how they are transported? Okay, how they are transported. So remember student, the mineral ions, there are the various types. You are aware with the mineral ions. You have studied what are the different types of mineral ions in the chemistry. But here with respect to the plant body, what are the different types of the mineral ions? Remember, there are near about the 36, okay, 36 to 40 different types of the minerals. Okay, minerals they are incorporated. Okay, they are incorporated in the plant body. Okay, they are incorporated in the plant body. So remember student, how this number of the mineral ions are reported there. So when we analyze the ash of the plant, okay, ash of the plant, after the analysis, the ash of the plant, this much number of means 36 to 40, near about the 40 different types of the mineral elements are reported there. Okay, for the 40 different types of the mineral elements, they are reported there. So this among these 40 different types of the mineral elements, remember student, the 30 different types of mineral elements. Okay, 30 different types. Okay, 30 different types of the mineral elements. Okay, they are universally occur. Okay, they are universally occur in the plant body. Okay, in the plant body. So remember student, when we analyze the ash of any plant, how much number of the mineral elements are reported? They show near about the 36 to 40 different types of the mineral elements are reported in the ash, but near about the 30 different types of the mineral elements they are reported. Okay, and they are reported in the maximum plant. So this is the universal occurrence. So universally, the 30 different types of the mineral elements are reported. Then student, from these 30 different types of the mineral elements, which elements they are essential? Okay, which elements they are essential? So remember student, essential in the sense, the elements which are required for the formation of the various biomolecules. With the biomolecules like the proteins are there, carbohydrates are there, fats are there, and the DNA and RNA means the nucleic acids. So for the formation of these biomolecules, which mineral elements they are necessary? Okay, and along with that, for the formation of they are in the various biochemical reaction takes place in the plant body. In that biochemical reaction, the some mineral elements, they act as the cofactors. Okay, cofactors, or they act as activators. So that mineral elements, they plays a most important role. So for the formation of various biomolecules in the cell, and along with that, for the activation of the various biochemical reactions, the activators and the cofactors are required. And then the various biochemical reactions will be possible in the plant cell. Okay, so how much number of that type of the elements they are present in the plant body? Remember, so from these 30 different, near about the 16, okay, 16 different types of, okay, types of the mineral elements, okay, mineral elements, they are essential, okay, are essential. Okay, so 16 different types of the mineral elements, they are essential from the 30 different types of the elements. Okay, from the 30 different types of the elements. Then what are those 16 different types of the mineral elements? The 16 different types of the mineral elements are, see, these are the 16 different types. Okay, different types of the mineral elements. Say the carbon, hydrogen, okay, there is oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, magnesium and iron. And along with that, the manganese, zinc, boron, copper, molybdenum and the chlorine ions. Okay, or we are to say the chloride ions or the chlorine ion, whatever it may be. So these are the 16 different types of the essential elements, or these are the 16 different types of the essential mineral nutrients. They are required for the plant body, and they are essential one. So instead of these mineral elements, the existence of living being is not possible. Okay, they immediately shows the certain types of the deficiency symptoms. Okay, then with respect to this the 16 different types of the essential element, so which element they are required in a large amount? Okay, which element they are required in a large amount, and which element they are required in a very few amount or in a traces. So on the basis of that, there are the two types of the elements, macro elements and micro elements. So on the basis of that, there are the two types of elements. Okay, two types of elements. The first one is the macro elements. Okay, macro elements. So these macro elements, they are required in large quantity. Okay, they are required in large quantity. Okay, they are required in a large quantity. And this macro element, remember, they are the constituents of biomolecule. Okay, so they are the constituents. Okay, constituents of the biomolecule. Okay, they are the constituents of biomolecule. So what are the biomolecules? Suppose the protein. Okay, proteins are there. Then the carbohydrates are there. Okay, then along with that, the lipids are there. Okay, lipids and the nucleic acids. Okay, nucleic acids. So these are the biomolecules. So in the formation of these biomolecules, they from these 16 different types of the element, the elements that take part, that type of elements, these are called as a macro elements. Okay, so they are required in a large quantity. So they are having its own role. okay, instead of this biomolecule, the cell they are unable to survive. Okay, so these elements, these are called the macro elements. So what are the macro elements? Remember student, the macro elements, they are of the 10 different types. Okay, they are of the 10 different types. So what are those macro elements? The macro elements like the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, okay, then it is nitrogen, okay, phosphorus and potassium, okay, potassium. Then along with these six, there is the calcium, okay, there is a calcium, sulfur, okay, magnesium and iron. So these are the 10 different types of the elements. They are required in a large quantity. Okay, so these type of the element, these are called as the macro elements. Okay, these are the macro elements. Then the another type of the element which are required in traces. Okay, which are required in traces. In the sense that element they act as a cofactors and activators in the biochemical reaction. So that element, these are called as the micro elements. So another type of the element, these are called as a micro, okay, micro elements. So remember, they are required in a small quantity. Okay, they are required in a small quantity. Okay, they are the constituents of biomolecule. They are not the constituents of biomolecule. Remember, they act as a, okay, they act as a activators. Okay, they act as a activator. Okay, they act as activators, and also they act as cofactors. Okay, cofactors. So cofactor in the sense, you know that they show this association with the enzyme, and because of that, okay, because of that, the enzyme become active. Okay, become active, and they enhance the biochemical reaction. So the role of these micro elements, they plays a most important role as they act as the activators and they act as cofactors in the various biochemical reaction. Then these micro elements, remember student, they are of the 6 different types. Okay, they are of the 6 different types. Okay, they are of the 6 different types. So what are those? There is a presence of the manganese, okay, boron, okay, boron, along with that the copper, then molybdenum and the chloride ions. So these are they say the manganese, then one more remain, it is the zinc, okay, zinc. So these are the 6 different types of the elements which are required in a traces. Okay, which are required in a traces or which are required in a very few amount. So that type of the element, it is called as the micro elements. Okay, so these are the different types of the elements reported in the plant body, and from that the 13 different types of the universally occurring elements, and from that 30 different types, what are the essential element? There are this 16 different types of the essential element, and from that 16 different types, on the basis of their utilization or on the basis of their the involvement in the plant body, they are of the 2 types, the macro elements and the micro elements. Remember student, there are the 16 essential elements. From that 16 essential element, the 10 are the macro elements and the 6 are the micro elements. So student, these are the different types of the elements reported in the plant body, and in brief their role, what they do inside the plant body. Then next to that, these elements, who absorb that elements? Okay, who absorb these elements? So remember student, this element, it is absorbed by the xylem. Okay, this element, okay, it is absorbed. Okay, it is absorbed by the xylem. Okay, this element, remember student, these elements, they are absorbed by the xylem from the soil solution, okay, from the soil solution, and they are transported actively toward the aerial portion, okay, they are transported actively toward the aerial portion, and they are transported through the xylem sac, okay, transported through the xylem sap, okay, they are transported through the xylem sap against the gravitational force, okay, against the gravitational force. Remember student, this pull of the xylem sap, okay, this the pull of the xylem sap, it is maintained. Who maintain this pull of xylem sap continuously in the plant body from root toward the aerial portion? The transpiration pull, okay, transpiration, okay, transpiration, they maintain the pull of xylem sap, okay. Who maintain that? The transpiration, they maintain the pull of this xylem sap. So the pull of this xylem sap, it is continuously maintained from root toward the aerial portion. Then what happens student here? This the fine veins, okay, fine veins of the xylem, okay, fine veins of xylem, they transport, okay, they transport that mineral elements on the basis of the diffusion gradient, okay, on the basis of the diffusion gradient. And remember, these fine veins, they unload, okay, they unload the minerals, they unload the minerals in the vicinity of, okay, in the vicinity of the cells, vicinity of the cells, okay. So remember student, these fine veins of xylem, they unload the mineral element near the vicinity of cell, okay, near the vicinity of cell, and this unloading, it is expressed because of the diffusion, because the veins, they are having the maximum amount of the mineral elements. So all along the peripheral area of that the cell, they are not having the mineral element. So that mineral elements, they are diffused there, okay, they are diffused there. So suppose student, this is the cell, okay, this is the cell, and this cell means we have drawn the cells from tissue, and suppose these are the veins, okay, these are the veins. This vein, okay, these veins, remember, this vein, they deposit, okay, they deposit the mineral ions all along its peripheral area, okay, all along its peripheral area. So that mineral ions, they remain around the peripheral area of the cell. Then how the cell, they uptake that mineral ions? Remember student, the cell uptake that mineral ion by utilizing energy. Means all the peripheral mineral ion, it is taken inside by that cell by using the energy, okay, by using energy, okay, by using the energy. So such a type of the uptake, it is called as an active absorption. So using energy, that means energy, it is in the form of as usual ATP. So such a type of uptake, it is called as active absorption, okay, active absorption, okay, it is called as active absorption. So remember, the cell, they uptake the mineral element from all along its peripheral area after unloading the fine veins. That type of the absorption, it is called as an active absorption. So you remember student. Then remember, these mineral elements, what is the main source of mineral elements? The main source of mineral element, it is the soil solution, okay. So the soil solution, it is the main source of mineral element. So you know that, suppose this is the plant body. Okay, this is the plant body as usual, and this is the root system. Okay, this is the root system. So what is the source of mineral element, student? The source of mineral element, it is the root or the soil solution. Okay, so the soil solution, this is the soil solution. It is the source of mineral elements. So the mineral elements, it is received by the root. Okay, root cells through the diffusion pressure deficit gradient or the osmotic pressure gradient, whatever it may be. They are received, okay, and then they are transferred toward the aerial portion. Just we have seen before how the mineral elements, they are transferred toward the aerial portion. But remember here, not only the soil solution is the source, the another one is the remember the another source is the whatever the older parts of the plant body, that older parts of the plant body, they are also having the mineral elements, and that mineral elements, they are transferred toward the younger part. Okay, they are transferred toward the younger part. For example, in case of the older leaves, suppose this is the old leaf and the another leaf. Okay, another leaf. Here it is this is, suppose this is the young leaf. Okay, this is the young leaf. Then the mineral elements. So suppose this is the old leaf. Okay, the mineral elements from this old leaf, it is transferred toward the young leaf. Okay, it is transferred toward the young leaf. So such a type of the transfer of the mineral element from the older parts of plant body toward the younger part, it is called as a remobilization. Okay, such type of a transfer, it is called as the remobilization of the mineral element. So remember, student, this remobilization of the mineral element, it is seen in the plant body. So there are the two sources of the mineral element in front of the plant. One is the soil solution. Okay, one is the soil solution, and from this soil solution, the mineral elements, they are taken inside. That type of the movement, it is called the mobilization. Okay, it is called the mobilization. So mobilized ions, they are the phosphorus ions are there, sulfur ions are there, along with that the nitrogen and the potassium are there. These are the mobilized mineral element. But what are the different remobilized mineral elements? Remember, the other difference are the remobilized mineral elements. Okay, remobilized mineral elements. Remember, the one mineral element that is not remobilized, that mineral, they take part in the structural components of the plant body. Okay, structural components of the plant body. That mineral elements, they are called as the calcium. So that calcium, okay, calcium, this calcium, they are not remobilized. Okay, calcium, they are not remobilized because they take part in the structural formation of the structural part of the plant body. Okay, structural parts of the plant body. The calcium, they are utilized. So such a calcium, they never remobilized. Okay, they never remobilized. So you remember this one. So remember, student, these are the source of mineral element in front of the plant body from the soil solution and within the plant body. The mineral elements, they show the remobilization. Then this xylem exudate, remember, just we are talked before, who carry the mineral elements, the xylem exudate carry the mineral element. But that xylem exudate, what they have along with the mineral elements, they also shows the presence of the nitrogen. Okay, they also show. So this xylem in that plant body, that xylem, they also shows the presence of the nitrogen. Okay, inside that xylem exudate. But that nitrogen, they are exist in a organic form. Okay, that nitrogen, they are exist in a organic form. Okay, organic form. And what are those organic form of nitrogen? For example, it is in the form of amino acids and the other nitrogenous compound. Okay, amino acids. Okay, amino acids. Okay, amino acids and other nitrogenous compound. Okay, other nitrogenous compound. So remember, whatever the mineral elements it is received from the soil, along with the mineral elements, the nitrogenous compounds, they are also there. It is reported in the xylem exudate, and that nitrogenous compound, they are present in the form of organic forms like the amino acids and other the related compounds. Then remember, student, there was a one thought, and that thought is a previous thought. So with respect to the absorption of the mineral elements, here previously whatever the thought is there, this xylem, okay, xylem, they are responsible for the absorption of mineral element in the form of an inorganic compound. Okay, so such type of thought was there. This xylem, okay, xylem which are present in the root and the stem, okay, xylem. This xylem, they absorb the element in the form of a inorganic, okay, inorganic form, okay, inorganic form. So such type of the thought was there. Then this xylem, they absorb the mineral element in the form of a inorganic form from soil solution towards the aerial portion of the plant body. From soil solution towards the aerial portion of the plant body. So such type of thought is there. Then the next time it was mentioned, another thing is the phloem, okay, phloem, see the phloem, this suppose this is the phloem, okay, phloem, they carry the organic food material, okay, they carry the organic food material, okay, food material from aerial portion toward the non-green region of the plant body. So such type of the thought was there. But remember, today what we observe there is some exchange of the material also seen in between the phloem and xylem. So that thought was not a true. Okay, with respect to this, it was not a true in the sense the xylem, they never carry the pure inorganic compound toward the aerial portion, and the phloem, they never transfer the organic food material from the aerial portion toward the non-green side. At some instance, they are at some sites, they shows some exchange of the material. Okay, some exchange of material. So when there is an exchange of material, the previous thought was not a correct one, it was not a true one. Okay, so remember, student, this is where the transport of the mineral ions. Okay, so now students, see the transport of food in the plant. Okay, transport of food. Okay, transport of food. So remember, what is the food? Okay, what is the food? Food means it is the photosynthetic product. Okay, photosynthetic product. So where it is synthesized? It is synthesized. Okay, it is synthesized in leaves. Okay, they are synthesized in the leaves. So we are talking about that. The food which are synthesized in the leaf means we have to say the transport of food. Okay, means the food which are synthesized inside the leaves. So that food, remember, they are synthesized in the form of a sucrose. No doubt they are synthesized in the form of glucose, but they are present there in the form of a soluble sucrose. Okay, in the form of the soluble, okay, soluble sucrose. Okay, in the form of the soluble sucrose. So this the transport of food, that part we are going to discuss here. The transport of food in the plant body. So the transport of food, okay, transport of food, or in the plant, the food is transferred from the source to sink. It is called as the transport of food. Okay, food is transferred from, it is transfer from, okay, from source to sink. Okay, it is called as a transport of food. Means remember, student, the food, it is transferred from the one part of plant body, that is the source, toward the another part of plant body where it is required, that is the sink. It is called as a transport of food. Okay, so let's see what are the source. The source means the food where it is synthesized. That part it is called as the source. Okay, food where it is synthesized. That part it is called as the source means the leaves. Okay, leaves of the plant body. There the food are synthesized through the process of photosynthesis. Then they are transferred. Okay, then they are transferred toward the site where the photosynthesis not takes place. Means toward the stem. Okay, toward the stem and the root. So the stem and the root, it acts as a sink. Okay, so the stem and the root. Okay, stem and root, it acts as a sink. So the food in the plant body, the food it is transferred from source to sink. In the sense from the leaves to the stem and the root. So remember, such a type of the transfer or the translocation of the food, okay, translocation of the food, it is called as a transport, food transport. Remember student, this food, it is transferred from the aerial portion of plant body toward the root system or toward the stem and the root system. So such type of the transfer, it is in a downward direction. Okay, it is in a downward direction, but that transfer, it is vertically takes place. Okay, it is takes place in a downward direction, but it is takes place vertically. Then how it is takes place? Because of their concentration gradient. Okay, because of the concentration gradient, means the concentration. Remember, the concentration of the food, it is maximum. Okay, it is maximum toward the aerial portion. Okay, it is maximum toward the aerial portion because there the food is synthesized. Because there is a food is synthesized. So that food, they are synthesized in the aerial portion through the process of photosynthesis, and that food, because of their concentration gradient, they are transferred toward the stem. Okay, they are transferred toward the stem, and finally from that stem, that food, it is transferred toward the root system. Okay, they are transferred toward the root system. So that food, it is transferred downwardly. Okay, that food, it is transferred downwardly, but in a vertical way they are transferred. So in the plant, the transport of food, they are of the two types. Okay, transport of food, they are of two types. The one is the vertical translocation. Okay, one type of the transport, it is a vertical translocation, and another type of the translocation, it is called as a lateral translocation. So the first type of the translocation, okay, transport of food. So that transport of food, okay, transport of food, there are of the two types of the transport. Okay, two types of transport. Two types of transport. The first one is vertical transport. Okay, vertical transport. And the second type of transport, that transport, it is a lateral translocation. Okay, that transport, it is called as a lateral translocation. Okay, lateral translocation. So in the plant body, the two types of the transports are reported. One is the vertical transport. Okay, vertically means from the aerial portion toward downwardly toward the stem and the root. It is called as the vertical transport. And the another one, it is the lateral transport. In that lateral transport, we have to see the two types of the lateral transport. One is the radial transport, and another one, it is a tangential transport. So with this student, this much part today we are completed in this lecture. Remaining part we will see in the next lecture.